Detroit has had some rough times, such as having a horrible football team, drug problems, and a lot of corruption. Detroit is the gun and knife room capital of the world. And in a poll at Pearson Education Center, Detroit was ranked the most dangerous city in the United States. Flint, Michigan ranked number 3. Why would you want to live in a city where you're the most likely to get mugged or robbed and live in constant fear of these dangers? There's no reason to live in a city with such violence as Detroit. At its prime, the city of Detroit was over 2 million residents. Now it's the first city in the United States to come over the 1 million residents and then fall below that number. Suburbanites are taking the bodies of their relatives out of cemeteries in the city because they're so dangerous and they can't visit them. Over 30% of the city's population lives below the poverty line. Why would we want to live in that city?
The city of Detroit is very corrupt, with corruption ranging from politics to sports teams. Kwame Kilpatrick, the former mayor of Detroit, was caught using money that was supposed to pay for voter education and instead was paying for golf and yoga lessons for his family. Coleman A. Young, in one case, a federal grand jury charged that Beckman, 3 businessmen, and Darylyn Browns, an unofficial advisor of Young, conspired in a racketeering and bribery scheme to secure for Vista Diesel Company a $5.6 million sludge hauling contract from the city. According to the indictment, Browns and the businessman promised to pay Director Beckman $2,000 a month to land and lucrative contract. The original six teams were found to be scalping their own tickets and hiding ticket sales for the purpose of avoiding tax on their proceeds. The league tolerated monopolistic practices by the owners. Red Wings owner James E. Norris effectively owned the Blackhawks as well as and was also the largest stockholder in the Rangers. The control of the owners over their teams was absolute. Players who got on the wrong side of their team owners were often harshly punished either by trading out of town or being sent to the minors. Labor conditions for the players were also poor. Players' medical bills were paid for only 2 months after their injury. Moreover, whenever players were sent down to the minors, they not only had their sales cut, but their relocation costs were not covered. The players were also not paid for off-season promotions and did not share in the funds of promotions such as trading cards, as was done in baseball.
I like turtles.
The Detroit Public Schools. 5 Detroit Public School employees have been charged with embezzlement. Among the 5 charged was a clerical worker at an elementary school who wrote herself 15 checks and made 17 withdrawals from a district account. That netted her more than $25,000. A second account was 2 former district employees and a police officer accused of stealing nearly $150,000. That could have gone to helping this poor little boy and his Game Boy.
I have no education. I'm a doctor. I'm a drug addict. I like turtles.
1.
Oh, you caught me doing crack. No, I don't really do crack, but I'm going to tell you about crack and heroin and marijuana. Michigan, Mexican DTOs, and direct ties to the southwest border and links to major Colombian cocaine cartels are responsible for the lion's share of the cocaine distribution in Michigan. Cocaine is either resold to local distributors or converted into crack cocaine for street distribution, like this crack cocaine addict and drug dealer. The availability of South American heroin remains constant throughout Michigan. Although Mexican brown heroin and Mexican black tar heroin is available, Southwest Asian heroin is readily available to the Detroit metropolitan area, with New York as the primary point of origin for the influx of Southwest Asian heroin. This man has had too much heroin and now thinks he's a pirate. Importation of Canadian marijuana, often referred to as BC Bud, along with MDMA by Asian organized crime groups at Michigan's northern border ports of entry, is encountered with increased frequency. Detroit, Port Huron, and Salt Lake City, Marie are quickly becoming transshipment areas to the rest of the United States. Cocaine from the southwest border is smuggled north into Canada at these same ports of entry. As you can see, these two have had too much cocaine and now on the wanted list for the FBI. Thank you. Have a nice day.
The Detroit Lions are one of the worst football teams in the National Football League. They're one of only 4 teams to never appear in a Super Bowl. The other 3 teams to never appear in a Super Bowl were established in the 1990s. The Lions were established way before then. Since 2002, when the NFL was expanded to 32 teams, the Lions are the only team to never make the playoff in their conference. The Lions are the only team in league history to lose a 16-game regular season. Currently, they're on a 24-game losing streak, which is tied for an NFL record with their own record set from 2001 to 2003. Ford Field struggles to sell out on Sundays, and the majority of home games the past 2 seasons have been blacked out. Lions fans have been increasingly disgusted with the team. On December 9th, 2005, a group of Detroiters started an orange out at a Lions game to support the visiting opponents, Cincinnati Bengals. And they supported the Fire Millen movement, which wanted to fire general manager Matt Millen. The Lions are the laughingstock of the National Football League.
Detroit Lions, Super Bowl 45 champions. From hapless to hopeless to now, finally unbeatable. Before this season, the Lions had only one playoff victory in 50 years, but this amazing championship run has put Detroit firmly on the football map. This victory means so much to the Motor City. This championship adds up to much more than just a moment to celebrate for this struggling community, but a jumping point that says dreams do come true, and that with enough fight, it's not just possible, but inevitable to emerge victorious from the fight.
These players have played their entire lives for this moment, from backyard to high school to college, and finally the NFL, daydreaming about the chance to be at center stage after the final whistle, to raise the Lombardi Trophy, to call themselves Super Bowl champions.